Hello, my marshmallow peeps! In today's video, I will be counting down my personal least favorite to favorite characters in my Season 2 that just recently concluded Total Pokemon World Tour. Keep in mind that all of these characters were created by me. All negative and positive comments are not hate or promotion. They're simply my opinions on my own characters. I have a lot that I hate, but I also have some that I really love, and I don't want to be called arrogant for complimenting my own characters. If you don't love your characters, then you're doing something wrong. Keep that in mind while watching this video. Thank you! Let's kick it off with number 42, Murkrow. Murkrow is really annoying. I think we can all agree with that. There's a couple of things about him I really hate, though. I hate his voice. I created a completely stereotypical bird-like voice for Murkrow and got called out for that repeatedly. Not only that, but he's just, well, annoying, to say the least. He complains about everything and feels really hardcore to overtake the main antagonist and become the bad guy himself. Next, number 41 is Klink. Klink was the first character eliminated, and usually you can have a strong opinion about them. First of all, you can with Klink. Again, her, yes, it's a her, voice is one of the many problems. I had my good friend Cameron voice one of the gears of Klink while I voiced the other. I would say a line and Cameron would be about a syllable behind me echoing the other gear. Her main problem, though, is that she just failed. Like, a lot. You'll notice a lot of these early ones are characters that got eliminated early. That's because none of them lasted long enough for me to manipulate them. I think it's obvious I got better at making the show as it went on, so a lot of the early eliminated characters were only handled by the Levi that didn't know what he was doing. Next on this list is Kricketune. One thing I hate about Kricketune is, you guessed it, his voice. It was sort of like my voice, but with a crazy Italian accent and a lot of stuttering. Besides this, he was a total jerk to Lumineon, someone you'll see much later in the video. He was also really pathetic, but a ton of my early characters were, so he's not really alone in that category. Number 39 goes to Numel. This is the last one that has to do with the voices, I promise. Numel was boring, critical, and couldn't do really anything. Plus her, yes, it's a her, voice made me yawn whenever I heard her or played her. Next is Dragonair at number 38. Ah, Dragonair, that character who had the longest plotline ever. She changed her mind so many times. Here's her entire experience on the show. Spinnerack loved her, Arcanine loved her. She couldn't choose who she loved. It took her 14 episodes to finally settle on Spinnerack, and then she got eliminated. She had so much potential. If I would have made her pick Spinnerack in like 2 to 3 episodes, I could have kept her around and actually given her plot. I don't really know why I made a decision against that, but I did. 37th is Kecleon. So here's a little secret fact about me. I am by far the most outgoing human being I know. So socially timid people get on my nerves. I totally get not wanting to talk to people. As a matter of fact, I like and respect people who will honestly say things like, I just don't want to go because I don't want to see people today. But people who are afraid of other people really bug me. Therefore, Kecleon's entire personality just irritates me. 36th is Floatzel. I used to like Floatzel, but he got really irritating, and a few people found him offensive. I have insanely severe OCD, meeting literally all 47 known symptoms of it, and I don't find stereotyping OCD offensive in the slightest. But I can see how some people would. So my Floatzel character was really insensitive to people with ADD or ADHD, and I did things that didn't even do the disorder justice. I mean, ADD and ADHD are mostly related to focus and control, and have nothing to do with intelligence like I made it look. Floatzel made me look really bad, and I honestly own up to it. Number 35 is Shinx. Shinx is awful. That's all I have to say. Number 34 goes to Sharpedo. He didn't pull a Scizor and work with Absol, but clear his name and ensure everyone he wasn't bad. He just was bad. Not only that, but he was so underdeveloped. I'll admit, I made him work pretty well with Apom, but he's definitely no Tangrowth. Next is Trubbish in 33rd. Trubbish ruined the first relationship of the show, Tropius x Stantler, and did it in a really stupid fashion. Trubbish was randomly in love with a character he was never seen speaking to before, only to find a note on her pillow. He just randomly assumes it was a totally unrelated character, only to attack said character. The list of events that makes him a nuisance just can go on, but you get the gist. 32nd is Carnivine. What a character that made merge, finally! Yes, Carnivine is my least favorite merger of my entire show. His voice was way too similar to other characters' voices, like Tangrowth, Shuckle, and Cacturne, but was way more annoying than all 3 of them. His stupid jokes were so cringeworthy, and his elimination was really underwhelming. He was able to make it to episode 24 without actually being a part of the plot since episode 5. Spot 31 goes to Stantler. Ah, Stantler, the girl everyone in the show likes, for some reason. Even Pikachu, for some reason, but not Absol, for some reason. Stantler is really dull, too perfect, and I made her laugh really annoying by accident. She worked okay with Tropius, but they weren't my favorite couple. The one thing that brought her higher up on this list was her arc with Sharpedo and Scyther. I actually liked that. Number 30 is Love Disc. This is one of those characters that all of you seem to like, but I never did. I was so surprised to find out how many of you actually liked her. She was funny because of how pathetic she was, but she also made me a little sad. Her elimination was devastating because as soon as you start to like her, and as soon as she starts to become a plot, and as soon as she starts to be funny, she gets eliminated. I don't really know what I was thinking, but that's what happened. Next, 29. That one goes to Cacturne. Sure, Cacturne had his good moments, like in episodes 25 and 15, but it wasn't anything special. He was funny with Shroomish from time to time, but I made him so stereotypically stupid that it's unrealistic he'd ever make it as far as he did. All in all, he was funny most of the time on screen, but aside from his plotline and that were just stretched that he had with Caesar, he was totally unnecessary his entire run of the show. Spot 28 goes to Corsola. That's right. So, early on, Corsola was one of my favorite characters, and I always thought everyone else would like her too. Well, to be honest, everyone did until about episode 29. Then I realized something. So many people love her, but she's unnecessary. Her plots with Heracross and Breloom were both over. So, sure, she had some scenes with Giraffrig and Tropius, but nothing big. So I wanted her gone, but no one else did. So my idea was just to make everyone hate her. Sure, it's not the best strategy, but it definitely worked. By making her a semi-villain, I was able to eliminate her without anyone being mad at me. Altogether, she was funny, like in episode 26 or episode 13, but she was way too bad at being bad for me to respect her much. Next is 27. This spot will be occupied by the highest ranking character on this list so far, Huntail. So I got a ton of hate for Huntail, especially after the Andy X Challenge posted his reaction to episode 41. Speaking of which, I don't want to see any hate to Telly for his opinions on my show. It makes me happy to see that you like my show, but I also want to let you know that I didn't take it to heart, and neither should you. He's a reviewer in the community, and he was just doing what he felt he needed to do. Now that that disclaimer's out of the way, let's talk about Huntail. When Clamperl came on the show, she was instant trouble. I sort of classified her with Caesar and Giraffrig in an alliance together because, for some reason, I always got them in trouble in the show. Clamperl was special, though. If you've seen episode 41, you know what I mean. So here's simply a list of things she did. She dated her best friend's crush, who she didn't even like, because she insulted her crush. She got another character to trick Dustox's therapist into revealing secrets about her. She told everyone about Dustox's anorexia and framed Sandslash. She worked with Absol. She forced Dustox to eat. She forced Giraffrig not to eat. She has medical-level temper problems. She started a hurricane. She eliminated Heracross instead of the main antagonist. She eliminated Caesar despite him being in her alliance, and she abandoned every friend she had. She did all of this, but without the style that characters like Absol had. Her one saving grace was that, well, she was insanely fun to watch at work. Next on the list is Toxicroak in 26th. So Toxicroak was my original 8th place. He had 2 qualities specified in the show. He's bad at first impressions and he's claustrophobic. That's literally all we know about him. He was quite underdeveloped and wasn't very necessary. He would be lower on this list, but his presence in episode 31 was really cool. 25. That one goes to Arcanine. Arcanine peaked between episode 29 and 33, but went downhill really quickly. I was able to really discreetly throw in a drug addiction reference in episode 38. It wasn't necessarily discreet, I guess, but I didn't just directly state it. That way younger audiences might just not follow the conversation. That was a neat plot line, and I was afraid because it was risky, but I definitely don't regret it. I'm going to let you in on another secret. Arcanine came in 2nd place until episode 30-ish. Then he was planned to win until episode 34-ish. Then it changed to Tropius winning and Arcanine in 2nd. I didn't decide Arcanine was getting eliminated until episode 38. Like, literally episode 38. The episode he got eliminated in. Actually, Ambipom was eliminated in episode 38, then 40, then 41, and finally 43. Anyway, back to Arcanine. I quickly got rid of him once reality hit that he was unnecessary. Magcargo takes 24th. I know, an early eliminated character that I don't just hate. Magcargo was undeniably annoying, mean, and critical. Sort of like Numel. The difference, though, is that Magcargo doesn't have an annoying voice, and she has a vendetta over Shuckle. I actually like the vendetta because, well, it went well between Magcargo, Shuckle, and Blitzle. Her main downfall is that I gave her an excessive liar personality, but quickly forgot about it. However, Anorith came around to carry her torch. Speaking of Anorith, he's number 23. I hate him and love him at the same time so much. He's so stinking annoying, but you can't hate him because of how awful he is. He's an excessive liar, pranker hybrid, specifically manipulating Tangela and Ambipom. That awkward moment when they're a couple, and I just now noticed that. Anyway, his excessive lying was interesting to say the least, but he was too repetitive and annoying for me to love him that much. 22nd goes to Heracross. Heracross's main good quality was that his personality/label was really creative on my part. Just like Giraffric, he's totally original. He's a wannabe superhero who just can't do anything right. He has a theme song and everything. However, his relationship with Corsola was definitely his downfall. Also, he came in third until the merge. Yeah, Tropius, Arcanine, and Heracross were my final three for the first half of the show. Let the hate rage on. Now, 21st is Archeops. Archeops is one of those magical exceptions to the add-ons rule. I hate add-ons because of the following reasons. They weren't there from the beginning. Same with returnees. You have two options with add-ons and returnees. One, accept the fact that they will never win. No one ever thinks they'll win, mainly because that would be unfair. Or two, make them win as a surprise. I don't know if everyone is like this, but that bothers me. I'm about to semi-spoil the endings of a TPI and a Total Drama season. If you aren't okay with this, mute your volume for the next 20 seconds. Now, Michael545's finale bothered me because he had an add-on and an original contestant. I knew if the add-on won, I'd hate that, but that made the winner obvious. Total Drama Redonkulous Race did it even worse, though. They made a team return at Final Four and then win. It made me want to boycott Total Drama because of how mind-blowingly awful the finale was. With that rant done, Archeops is some form of an exception. When you watched him, you didn't feel like he was an add-on. His personality and voice weren't very original, but his development was really well done. Next is Ariados in 20th. Ariados was sweet, sarcastic, and pretty neutral. His elimination was really climactic, but his excessive plotline with Dragonair was so annoying, and he didn't have much personality. His friendship with Shuckle was a nice twist, and he was quite literally never mean, which made him easy to watch and easy to like, but not easy to love. Shuppet takes 19th. Shuppet was pretty much the main character of episodes 3 to 16. Her arc with Absol was so cool. That's her main pro, though. She was constantly putting up a fight, while adding a ton of darkness to the early part of the show. I loved how creepy I made it with things like multiple personalities, fake marriage, constant mind games, and stalking each other. However, once Giraffric came into the picture, it got too complicated, and it made Shuppet seem weak. Also, I made her plotline with Absol about twice the length it should have been. Next is probably a shocker, Caesar. I always felt that Caesar was overlooked and underrated. He was one of the few characters I was able to successfully set up the status of good, but still a jerk. He wasn't very antagonistic, but he was still controlling and mean, which I really liked. He was definitely underdeveloped for the start of the show, but his arc with Stantler worked out well. Then he really discreetly told Stantler that he didn't do what he did by himself, that someone else made him do it. Then he got under the radar until his alliance with Clamperl and Giraffric, which was mentioned earlier. Basically, I liked him because he was an interesting take on a character that I hadn't really used much, but he was too scarcely important. 17th is good old Seviper. Seviper was a really cool character, mainly because he was able to have serious plotlines but be funny while he did it. He was hilarious while working with Lumineon. Then I added the mole-like plotline, which made him even more serious. Seviper's backstory was pretty cliche, but it was also really sweet, and I loved his relationship with Drifloon, until I made it implode, by, spoiler alert, making Drifloon the mole. Episode 23 was one of Seviper's peaks, because he took charge of the plotline, only to find out minutes later that the one betraying him was his girlfriend all along. Then, after forming a fake alliance with Absol, no one believed it was fake except for Lumineon, and he got eliminated in a devastating turn of events. Next on the list is another character I personally think is underrated, Sandslash. Sandslash was the southern country guy, Dustox's other half. He was always nice to everyone, but Clamperl framed him for telling everyone about Dustox's anorexia. He even had a cool plotline with Sharpedo early on that I enjoyed, but he was a little two-dimensional. 15th place goes to Shuckle. Shuckle was super cliche and stereotypical, but that's really his only downfall. He was adorable, really well developed, and played a sweet, fair game. He got eliminated instantly in the Olympics challenge, losing to Breloom by only 1 point. He developed a ton, making quite a few friends along the way, and besides his story being really cliche, he was nearly a perfect character in my opinion. Next is 14th, and that goes to Drifloon. Yep, the mole. I love Drifloon, mainly because even though she only made it through 23 episodes, she was so memorable. Her reveal in episode 23 worked out more perfectly than I could have imagined, and her early chemistry with Seviper was priceless. Along with having some funny early moments, like with Shinx, she maintained her blunt comedy through nearly all of her appearances. She was also like the queen of mind games, having everyone fooled she was innocent. 13th place may also be a little shocking, but Volcarona. Volcarona is one of the few characters left that didn't make merge. Volcarona was sweet, adorable, perfect with Toxicroak, quickly but effectively developed and had an awesome elimination. Her main downfall was that she pulled a Stantler and that she seemed a little too perfect. About her elimination though, it was probably my favorite pre-merge elimination. There's the one side of me that hated it because I liked her and didn't want to see her go, but there was also the other one that loved how epic and climactic it was. This was Absol's first elimination due to sabotage. Not only this, but she went out with quite a bang, yelling and screaming bloody murder, stranded in a basement, which, by the way, was a blast to record. Next is 12th place, and that spot is taken by none other than Vibrava. So let's state the obvious good of Vibrava. His reveal in episode 34 was absolutely epic. He was an enigma for 34 episodes, and I was able to drop hints at his intelligence at every single turn. I made him Einstein in a Halloween theme song, I made his mugshot say hiding in the Alcatraz episode, and I made him do unexplainably well in the challenges. At every confusing turn, Vibrava made it even more confusing. He always acted like an idiot, mainly because he was acting like an idiot, but he always knew everything, like the locket. The problem though, and it's pretty crucial, I hated him once we found out who he was. Okay, so he had that tiny plot where Huntail couldn't accept him, blah blah blah. The problem with me creating such a massive episodic build-up was that once he was revealed, I didn't have enough time to recreate him. When you reveal a secret that changes literally the entire character, you basically have to start them over, and 7 episodes just wasn't enough. 11th place is actually taken by a pre-merger, Grumpig. I know, a bit of a stupid one, but hear me out. She has the perfection of Corsola's stupid hilarity, along with the pitifulness of Beth from Total Drama, and she's not crazy and evil like Corsola. She's like all the good of Corsola and none of the bad. Next is Girafarig in 10th. Girafarig's pros. Totally original personality. Quirky. Had tons of plot lines. Romantic moments, funny moments, and heartbreaking moments. Girafarig's cons. Unnecessary later in the game. Probably the weakest of the final 10. Lost his cool metaphorical vibe as the show progressed, and had a weird thing with Shuppet. Dustox takes 9th for multiple reasons. Here's the one downfall in her character, and then I'll talk about why I love her so much. The one downfall is that pretty much the entire show, she was weaker than Clamperl. The thing is, we, the audience, usually rooted for Dustox. Sometimes it worked, and other times it didn't. Unfortunately, her elimination seemed to be a little bit, broken. It sort of collapsed everything we wanted her to accomplish. But on to why I love her. So here's 2 things right off the bat. Her anorexia storyline was great, and her accident-prone personality was really original. Not only that, but she always at least put up a fight. Even if Clamperl won most of the time, Dustox always tried. Sometimes her nice disposition just got in the way. Dustox originally didn't even make All-Stars, and I'm so happy I changed that. Anorexia had never been touched in a TPI, and I was really familiar with the topic, considering I've actually gone to the doctor in real life due to potential subconscious anorexia. Plus, her speech in the finale was really fun. Next, in 8th place, is another pre-merger, Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn was perfect from the get-go. You think he's going to be a jerk like Sharpedo, but then Lumineon comes into the picture. Lumineon dedicates the first 7 episodes to trying to get Ferrothorn to break out of his shell, and his response is so cute. Then, from episodes 8 to 11, a relationship starts to form between them, in one way being him saving her life, only to lead to Ferrothorn asking Lumineon out. Lumineon turns him down, though, saying that she was meant for Floatzel. Then, in episode 19, they start dating unofficially. However, he threw the game in order to protect her in episode 20. His really rugged personality, combined with the fact that he was suggested to be a villain repeatedly, created such a cool protagonist to be paired with another cool protagonist. Now, 7th place goes to the infamous Absol. Absol has received some admitted hate, and I see why, but it's hard to argue that he's a bad villain. Here's a list of what he accomplished. He convinced Seviper to get out Murkrow, got Sharpedo caught for being a villain, sent Sharpedo and Scyther to attack Tropius, subsequently eliminating Stantler, made Huntail quit to protect him, pretended to attack Toxicroak on a cliff, only to win the challenge right after, got Arcanine hooked on drugs, leading to his elimination, was the reason Clamperl eliminated Heracross, tricked Ariados into failing the challenge, leading to his elimination, tricked Seviper into framing himself, emotionally abused and stalked Shuppet, blackmailed Drifloon into working for him, poisoned Volcarona, framed Grumpig into looking like she cheated on Corsola's boyfriend, dropped a tree on Girafarig, ripped a hole in Dustox's wing, and faked a medical report to eliminate Tangrowth. He did all of that with enough secrecy, strength, and blackmail to realistically make it to the Final Four. He had awesome mind games, but wasn't quite invincible. It ended up being 3 characters, still higher up on the list, which took him down. In 6th is the last character to not make merge, Zebstrika. Zebstrika was my favorite pre-merge contestant. He was super happy, zippy, energetic, and sweet. He stuttered and had dyslexia, but that never stood in the way of his abilities. He ran so quickly it was like he teleported, so I obviously had to eliminate him before merge, or else he'd be pretty much invincible. His relationship with Clamperl was really sweet, but not so sweet that he dismissed everything. He was also really respectful and noble to Sandslash and Shuckle, while still being funny, an example being in episode 16. He had some great scenes, most notably a scene with Clamperl in episode 17, his scene with the Cottonies in episode 16, and him looking for Shuckle in episode 19. Number 5 is taken by none other than Breloom. Breloom was a fan favorite from the very beginning. His socially awkward tendencies made every interaction with a fellow contestant hilarious. Even though he was a bit creepy at times, he stayed precious and innocent all 35 episodes he competed. His elimination was sad, but he still ranked All-Stars. Originally, Breloom came in 4th place until I realized that there was no way I could realistically have him make it that far. He had a cute friendship with nearly everyone, except Absol, who he managed to hate and stay sweet while hating him. His heavy breathing combined with his utter innocence make him my 5th favorite. Tropius takes 4th, being my 2nd favorite character to voice, mainly because I basically am him. There are a couple differences. He's specifically overforgiving, and I'm specifically unforgiving. He has stereotypical OCD, and I have real OCD. Other than that, we're really similar. We're both highly OCD, even though I have things that real OCD has too, like the fear of murdering someone or the refusal to drink out of random cups for no reason. Yeah, I'm weird. Anyway, Tropius has one of the best backstories in my show, probably only losing to Absol and Shuppet. He was able to make a ton of friends, overtake Absol, and do really well in challenges. His friendship with Lumineon was destined to last too, as you can see in episode 44. I wanted them to have the perfect friendship where, if they did date, it would be the best thing ever, but their friendship was too perfect to tarnish. Also, his germophobia and OCD never actually caused his downfall like many of you suspected. Honestly, he never really had a major blunder until episode 40, but he recovered miraculously. Overall, he's a really fun character to be. I can connect to him easily, and his personality is both entertaining and unique. Next is Tangrowth in 3rd. Tangrowth is the nerd who's allergic to everything. He is one half of my show's OTP, Tangrowth x Ambipom. My design for them was to make it like there was no way he could put up with her. But she slowly softened his shell as their dating progressed. I also loved the original plotline where they started dating because they fake dated. The last thing about the ship instead of the character is that they're both so dysfunctional that they don't care how messed up the other one is. Episodes 23 and 34, where they both find out they lied to each other and then instantly call it even, are great examples of this. Anyway, Tangrowth is fabulous because he's insanely sarcastic and pathetic, but you root for him anyway because he's so sweet. He also adds a bit of bluntness to dialogue, which is always a nice twist. 2nd place goes to the season's winner, Lumineon. Lumineon was sort of like Dawn from TDROTI, except for 2 things. Her aura reading played a part in the show, a huge part, and also she lasted long enough in the game for me to fully manipulate her abilities. Lumineon is a hippie-ish girl that has the ability to read auras and tell if someone's lying. However, if she's tired or if the Pokemon she's reading is Ghost or Dark type, things get a little fuzzy. Her aura reading was one of the things that kept the plot moving between episodes 16 and 23. Along with that, she's super sweet, socially awkward, but doesn't really know it, and funny. She's known to build up with anger and go on rants, the most evident being in the finale itself when she threatens to publicly bite someone who stole her plane ticket. Her win was satisfying too. No one cheated, it wasn't obvious, and it was a clean, fair game all the way. Here's a secret. Lumineon came in 2nd until the week I wrote the finale. It was that last minute. Also, she ranked 18th until about halfway through the show. And, of course, 1st place goes to the queen of the season, Ambipom. Here's a little note. She barely made merge, and changed ranks more than any other character. Every episode I planned to eliminate her, I just couldn't do it. She came in 21st, then 14th, then 11th, then 9th, then 5th, then 4th, and finally 3rd. She was unarguably the funniest character on the show, giving life to many memorable moments. She worked perfectly with Tangrowth, Lumineon, and Tropius, but wasn't afraid to show her mean streak. But to be honest, she was still adorable when she was yelling. In conclusion, Ambipom was the most fun character to play, the most loved character, and the funniest, cutest, and sweetest character. And that's why she's my favorite character from Total Pokemon World Tour. Now, I also thought this video would be a cool, would be just the best video to show fan art that I've received. Also to let you guys know that I do see your fan art and save your fan art and show your fan art so that other people can see what great drawings you are. This is not one of the best examples of a great drawing. I say that not as an insult because this one is made by Aqua Oracle, as you know, one of my best YouTube friends. We made this in a Skype call together as a joke. Aqua actually makes some really cool art, especially IRL art, using just, you know, regular old pen and pencil like in the archaic days. But I'll make sure to put everyone that I mention and show art from, I'll put a link to their DeviantArt in the description below. But this is the first art that I'm showing this video. This one is by Aqua Oracle. This is a picture of the moment where Spinnerack is flying through space while tied to the asteroid in episode 30. These next two are by Skywing. The one on the left is a cute picture of Pikachu doing a nice little, like, snappy gesture. I think it's really adorable. And it says, the great host of TPI and TPWT, Pikachu. And I'm sure Pikachu would greatly appreciate that. And also the one on the right I thought was really cool, because it's a drawing of me in real life. And I also thought this was really weird, but the way that he wrote Levi in the top right looks almost identical to my actual handwriting when I write my own name. But anyway, thank you so much, Skywing. I thought the one on the right was specifically cool, mainly because I don't get a lot of drawings of me, but I love the ones of characters too. He even got my eyes and my shirt and everything pretty much right, except I'm a lot skinnier and smaller in general than that. But I love it. Thank you so much, Skywing. These two are from Miko or Speedy Sceptile or whatever you want to call him, but the one on the left is a really cute picture of Lumineon. He drew this right after she won Season 2, and the one on the right I thought was really neat. It is a hybrid of Absol and Shuppet, aka Shupzel. I was really nervous when he asked if he could make a hybrid, because I don't typically like hybrid Pokemon, but I thought this one turned out really, really cute. Also, the Lumineon's adorable too, so thank you so much, Speedy. These four are from Susan Lucario Fan 16. The one in the top left is Tropius with his cute little pajamas on and his eye patch from episode 40. The one in the top right is a picture of Ambipom and Tingrowth with little hearts around them because they're just like the cutest ship in the whole wide world. And then the one in the bottom right is of Ferrothorn and Lumineon, another ship picture. I thought that Lumineon was particularly adorable in this picture. And then the bottom left picture is of Tropius and Lumineon, the finalist of Season 2. Thank you so much, Susan Lucario Fan 16. I love them. This picture is from Shiny Hunter William or Toad Pokemon Productions. He also goes by a few names I know. This is a kind of a collage of my Final 10 and the host of the show, Pikachu, in front of a nice plain background. I also want to point out that Vibrava is so adorable in this picture. Thank you so much, Shiny Hunter William, and I'd love to see any more. This next one is an interesting take on Pikachu. As you can see, it is a GIF and it moves, but this is by the 10th Doctor. Again, also goes by quite a few names, but I'll make sure to show you their links to their DeviantArt in the bottom so you can figure out what name they're going by currently. But anyway, this is a picture of Pikachu in a blue shirt and a cool kind of anime-style red hair. My favorite thing about this, though, is the headset, because it kind of symbolizes that he's like the pilot of the plane, and I thought that was a really neat take on it, so thank you so much. And this one is by the Andy X Challenge. At the top, it has my classic little fancy little squiggly thing. I really need to learn what that thing is actually called. Like, someone Google that for me, because I need to know. I love that symbol, though. Anyway, and then you can see my two Pikachus of the host. Well, there's just one, but he made it symmetrical, because he knows I like symmetry. Anyway, and then there's a little avatar of him in the middle, like kind of in the middle of the cool swirly green vortex in the background. Congrats on a successful second season. Here's to Season 3. Thank you! I'm working on Season 3 very soon, and I'm so excited. Thanks for an epic World Tour season. You're welcome! Thank you for watching! And it says 50 out of 50, pure perfection. That's my score on the Total Pokemon scoreboard. And that's kind of a dream come true, pretty much since the scoreboard started. So thank you so much, Telly, for giving me that score. He says, you deserve it, dude. And then we have, of course, our fabulous Lumineon and Tropius in the bottom left and bottom right, respectively. Thank you so much, Telly. And this is the last art I will be showing. This is quite possibly one of my favorites that I got. This is by Thenosithizmbath. I hope I pronounced your name right. I always try and rehearse it to make sure I get it just right, but I think I did then. Anyway, in the top left you can see it's sort of a humanized version of Lumineon, and then Tropius and Ambipom, and then in the bottom left, going from left to right, is Absol, Huntail, and Vibrava. But the one thing you should notice about this is that not only are they humanized versions of them, but they're also wearing the costumes that you can see in episode 40. So we have Lumineon with her little dog paw stamp on her back right fin and her flower crown, and then Tropius with his eye patch and his cloud shirt. I also thought it was cool that she put the bananas on a necklace. That was a really interesting way. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But anyway, then he put the bananas on a necklace. I thought that was a neat way to successfully incorporate it. And then, of course, we have Amy Pond with her pink fingers and her heart sticker and her red scarf. And then Absol with his silver blade. And I thought the fur coat was a really cool way also to show, like, his kind of fluffy mane thing that he has. And his silver bandana, and then we have Huntail with her green fin on the top, and also she has on her like beige and green on her body because she was wearing camo, along with her black headband and a little scarf around to show all of her spots that Huntail has. And then the last one is Vibrava. I thought Vibrava's eyes were so cute, but Vibrava is holding his red book and his monocle as he is seen having in episode 40. So thank you so much, Thanu. Anyway, that is all to this video. Leave a list down below of your favorite Season 2 characters for me to see. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, you loves, and bye!